Hey everybody, welcome to our Squared Coworking Podcast. We're so excited to be here today to talk a little bit about some exciting things we have coming up. We are talking today about our Squared Business Bootcamp that we have coming up in March. But before we kind of talk about the bootcamp itself, we wanted to just touch a little bit about business and why we thought this was important. So tell me some of the things that you guys have experienced in setting up your business that you wish you would have had more help or mentorship in.
I wish I just would have known where to go to set up a business, because you get this idea and then you're like, oh, well, and you're like, I don't know what to do here, or here. So you're just kind of like just stopped. So, I mean, I feel like that's what most people struggle with. They're like, oh, I don't know anything about entities, LLCs, or do I just do it on myself? Like, that's where I feel like some people just struggle.
And do you think that having like people that could have helped you, do you think that if you had people that could have helped you, then maybe you would have used less time getting there, and maybe even financially been better off in getting there?
I would have done that a lot sooner, a lot quicker versus waiting, doing my own research, which, I mean, every state's different, every business is different as well, so it would have helped a lot just being surrounded with other people that knew, hey, go do this, and there you go.
Yeah, very good. What about your experience?
Same. There's too much I did myself at first. I think I lost years probably just Googling and trying to just like, well, I'm the business owner, I can't hire all those things out, I'm just starting out, so I have to do everything myself. Wrong. Use the expertise that's available, use your network, ask questions. And yeah, I wish I went through a boot camp, or I wish I started in a co-working space. None of that was how it went. And it just takes so much more time, and there's an opportunity cost of time. It's not that you're not spending anything, that you're saving anything, but if you haven't made much progress in a month or a few months' time, then that's a big opportunity wasted. So I think it's super important to really build the right network, get the right advice, and not just because I went online and watched YouTubes, and there are a lot of places you can find information, or you could go to a conference and a guru will explain how things are done and you'll be inspired and go home. But no, something that's really concrete, people that are there locally able to help right on the spot. You walk out and you have everything available. And you have a starting phase. And of course, some of the people we may not work with later, and that's great, but you have a starting phase and a launch pad. And I think you'll be years ahead from other that will start alone.
Yeah, absolutely. I liked what you were just saying too about, you can go online and you can research, and there's a lot of information online, but having that personal connection, and having somebody to talk to and kind of, move through the information together, I think is invaluable when it comes to building a business. Do you feel like having somebody to actually sit down and talk to is beneficial for that way?
Oh yeah, because if you do it yourself, then how we were just talking about, you look up so much information, but then you get information overload. You're like, oh man, this is getting too difficult. I don't even know what to do now at this point.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
I think that's very important.
Yeah, and do you find that that networking that you like you were saying, some people you don't end up working all the time too, but don't you find that you connect really well with the people that you start working with, and you become like real friends with them, and you build this great business relationship with people across different businesses as you start networking? How do you feel about networking?
Yeah, totally. Networking is kind of a weird term, like, because I went to events where other business people went, or a chamber event or other things, or when I was living in different cities like there, I went to other co-working spaces, went to some kind of a pizza night or something. It's not really exactly the same. You'll exchange a business card, and I had a couple of meetings and some people tried to help, but there's not always directly a connection. But I think like when you really work in physically, not just virtually, in the same place, and you see those people every day, or you're going through a boot camp again, you're physically going there and you're talking to those people day in, day out, that 1 week, you really build a connection, which is much, much longer lasting than other typical networking events where you just share a couple business cards and that's it.
Yeah,
So,
I think also you get a lot of business inspiration. You know how to move your business forward and how to create different things for yourself because you're around other people that are also creating. And so I think that's a great way to use that networking space and time to move your business forward. So let's talk about the reason behind our boot camp and why we decided to do that. I mean, we've kind of talked a little bit about starting our businesses and having that mentorship, but for me, I really think it is a huge opportunity for people to come together and to create together. I know in my life that when I have other people, like you were saying, to talk about ideas and to bounce things off, and there's always somebody that's a little further ahead down the road than I am, and to be able to sit there and kind of pick their brain, I think is really important to say, how did you do this? I mean, how did this work for you? But not only how did things work, but tell me all the things that didn't work and why they didn't work so that I don't have to go through those same things, and I can avoid some of that stuff. I think that being able to sit together is a really important thing. What did you feel like when we were talking about creating this boot camp?
Honestly, I think it's great because networking itself, like how we were just talking, you go to a seminar, you go somewhere else to network and just exchange business cards. But then at the end of the day, like, oh, we'll have so many business cards, and then you just throw them or forget about them.
Right.
So being face to face, you get to meet people, and you can be like, oh, I'm in this kind of business. Oh, we'll have someone that is kind of interested, or like you can build more referrals face to face and actually talking with them than just, oh, here's my business card. This is what I do, and then, like I said, you just lose some business cards.
Right. Right, absolutely. I think it becomes a partnership also. There's so many things that I feel like I offer people with just myself, and the connection. And so I feel like it's that mutual give when you have people in together. How can I help you the same as what you're helping me? And I think that that's a great way to also build not just your business, but your community and the people around you, and to be able to increase your value within your networking group, to be able to really have a good combination of that give and take. So we're going to talk a little bit about our Squared Business Bootcamp that's coming up. It's coming up March 21st through the 25th. So about a month and a half away. We're really excited about it. And it is an all immersive boot camp. So you come in the morning and we will have people all day that will come, experts in the fields and people within our community, and just exactly what we've been talking about, there to share their expertise, their experience. So you're going to learn a lot. But the really big thing we wanted this to be is an action-taking boot camp. So while you will learn a lot, we really want you to take action. So what does that mean to you guys, like taking action?
Going and doing it, you get the info in front of you, and instead of just waiting, like, oh, well, what's the next step? Instead, we're going to help progress. Like, okay, well, here's this. Like, now it's done for you. Go out and let's try to get your referrals, and especially where you're going to be around other people that are doing businesses, then they can help each other out. And we know so many people in the community because we've done a lot of these things, so we're able to help them out too, like the people that come and join the boot camp.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, and that bridges the gap from going home when you learn a lot of things and then, okay, now I need to start. Okay, I'm tired. I'm gonna sleep. Start tomorrow. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
And in that case, you really went through, like the attorney will be talking about operating agreements and importance of those things. You'll walk out of that meeting with an operating agreement, or at least out of the week you'll have schedules and a few other things, referrals or other like different kinds of ways of marketing. You would have sent your first mailer to a database or contacts you already had, or whichever is specifically for you. It would have been done. And by the time you go home Friday, it's not like, okay, I'll start. No, you already started. It's like, I just sent out all those mailers. Now I need to be ready to answer all those questions that will start coming in.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it kind of pushes you, and it's a good time to be pushed because you're motivated during the conference, and you just launched. And it's not like, you got to get that motivation back. I'll keep my job. It's easier. So.
The other thing that I find too is that when I start doing something, even though I've gone through the process, I've learned how to do it, when I actually sit down to do it, other questions pop up, or then I start second guessing myself and think, was this how I was supposed to do it? And to be able to still have people in the boot camp and the mentors there to be able to still ask questions and get some reassurance, I think that is really great too, to be able to work through my problems and my anxiety maybe of creating my business in a safe space where I have that mentor still there to talk to and ask questions.
Yeah, because creating your first business can be scary because you don't know what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Obviously, you don't know what you don't know, and starting a business you don't. And luckily, the boot camp will help you, like from mindset to doing your own, like getting your own entity set up, like operating agreement, just how you mentioned, like all that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is going to be so exciting. And I'm really excited to see people come in with that hunger to build business and to learn about business, and then see how they can progress and how quickly they can get everything set up by the end of the week and have a functioning business to walk out the door with. And then the thing that I have loved also in talking to mentors and to people that want to be part of this boot camp is that they're not just talking about this week. Many of them have said anytime these people might have a question, I can mentor them forever. You know, they can always ask me questions. And I think that is a huge opportunity for a business owner and our community to have people you can always turn to ask those questions.
Yeah, because you can learn from their mistakes, like stuff that's happened. Because not everyone always glorifies a failure. They're always like, oh, this is all the best. But then you can learn from their mistakes, and then instead of you making those mistakes, now you can learn from it, from what they did, and that way you don't have to go through it and pay that.
Right. Yeah, cool. Okay, so let's tell everybody, how do we get involved in the boot camp? How do people register for that?
Go to our website, squaredbusinessbootcamp.com.
Oh, very good. Just as simple as that. There's a link on there. You can just click on it and register. And we look forward to having you at our boot camp. Thank you for joining our Squared Coworking Podcast today. And we look forward to seeing you again.